Hey guys, Josh with LinkSpider. So you're out at the ballpark, you've got your brand new Mevo Core up on the backstop, shooting your ball game and you're happy as can be, and a foul ball hits the fence and the lights in your camera go out. You're gonna freak out. I would freak out. I have freaked out. And I'm not saying that your camera didn't have some damage done to it, because anytime you put a camera on a backstop, the risk of damage is possible. And as your players continue to increase in velocities, that risk gets higher and higher. So use your own discretion. But what I will say is this particular camera has a removable battery. So there's a very good possibility that what has happened is that impact has loosened that battery. It's in a socket. Your Mevo Start didn't have this. It has an internal battery that's soldered in place. If it comes loose, you got major problems and you're gonna have to send it off and have that repaired. Hopefully your Mevo Core is not got that same condition. But there's a couple things you want to keep in mind. All of the fasteners on this camera are T10 Torx bits, but there's a couple that you want to leave alone. And it may seem counterintuitive, but we use the security bit because that's the same bit that we use to remove the stock base on the Mevo Start, and we replace with our replacement base. But you want to leave those alone on this camera, and you can tell because they're the ones that have the peg on the inside of the socket. Those are on the top and the bottom. You want to leave those alone. What you do want to undo are the two on the left side and the two on the right side. And you simply take your T10 bit and you put those in place. And I will tell you, if you have to do this in the field, I would highly recommend that you get yourself a magnet and put these fasteners on that magnet, because they are small. They're not something that you're going to find at a local hardware store. So if you lose one, you're going to be without a fastener. Now, luckily, the structure of the camera is held in place by the housing on the outside, which is not what we're removing. So while it may have the risk of introducing some contamination into your camera, it's not a tragedy if you happen to lose one of these, but you definitely want to get it placed at some point. Okay? Now, we've got the four fasteners removed from the side. This back doesn't just come off. If you rotate the camera on the bottom, you'll notice there's a little slot here. You'll want to be tempted to put a flat screwdriver in there. I wouldn't do that. It certainly isn't necessary. But what you can do is just take your thumbnail and just pop it away. And when you pop it away, it's going to come loose on this side. It's still connected on that side. So then what we want to do is we kind of want to turn this side to side until it finally gives way. And it is a little tricky, so we're going to flip it over. It gets caught on that switch. So I felt it kind of give way when I went side to side right there. And it's tricky. So I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to bring it across this slot right here, and that popped off. Okay, so we've got the back off. Now my particular camera doesn't have this issue. The lights are on. If you had battery issues, those lights wouldn't be on. But what you can do at this point is pop that out like that. And anytime you remove a battery in a device, you don't want to just take it out and put it back in, because the camera may still be powering down. You want to leave it out for 5 or 10 seconds. That's not necessarily something I heard from Mevo. It's just good practice anytime you remove a battery from a powered device. So we've taken that back out. There's only one way it will go back in. You want to line the pins up with those, and you want to push down. And when you do, at some point, the lights on the camera will be illuminated. That lets you know if you didn't have lights before and you do now, you might be saved. Okay, so to put this back together, the first thing that we want to do is we want to pull this rubber cover here, and we want to slip it through that opening so that it doesn't get caught. And when we do that and we get everything lined up, we want to push down until we hear a snap. And then you kind of want to push all the way around so you know that this is seated. And then we're just going to reverse the process of putting the screws back in place. Again, if you have shaky hands like me, you want to make sure that you maybe have a magnet or something, or have a helper that's hanging on to these things. And anytime you're dealing with small fasteners, it's good to have a helper standing by and tell them, if I go, hey, 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 that means I've dropped something. Their job is to look at the ground and see where it landed. And hopefully, when you find it, you'll be able to pick it back up and put it in place. But if you drop something 4 or 5 feet and it hits the ground and you weren't watching where it was going, it's probably going to spend the rest of its life there. All right, we got the camera back together. It should fire back up. Hopefully this saves your day. If you guys have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Josh at LinkSpider. We'll see you.